Hello and welcome to another episode of the Federal Church Presents Better Than Bloomberg, covering the global financial system collapse 2023, the worst one ever. It's a good note from Zero Hedge as it describes the cronyism with Silicon Valley Bank and the bailouts and basically screwing the shit class morons, making them poor to bail out rich people. And then this is a great example too. I guess they're not rich people; they're crony, corrupt, and money changers. So SVB's loans to insiders exploded ahead of its collapse. So it's looking like they knew they were going to collapse, and then they just gave all the people there some loans before the bank imploded. And then the Fed got to print shitloads of money to make everybody poor, to bail it out. By now, we've all seen the losses that SVB faced on its unhedged book of treasuries and MBS, which again, this is not some Lehman moment. This is a dipshit moment, because not only did they manage to screw up one of the most simplest trades on earth, they were stupid enough not to hedge it too. So we've all read about the gargantuan deposit run that occurred on the eve of its demise. We've all scratched the back of our heads at the percentage and size of uninsured depositors. And again, I doubt the shit class morons were these depositors with over $250,000 in the bank that were bailed out by the Biden administration. We have also all seen the relatively huge amount of share selling by insiders in the month leading up to the bank's inevitable collapse. But this next chart is a doozy. Courtesy of Bloomberg's reporting, it appears that not only were insiders dumping their shares faster than syphilitic hookers, they were loading up on the loans from the bank. They were loading up on loans from the bank at a scale that makes a mockery of any regulatory oversight. And this is pretty funny. Loans to officers and shareholders since 2002 until today. You can't really see the scale there, but it's quite a bit, isn't it? So it went from, at most was about 50 million to 200 million. That then gets bailed out with printed money. Yes, that's real. Loans to officers, directors, and principal shareholders and their related interests more than tripled from the third quarter last year to 219 million. In the final 3 months of 2022, a record dollar amount of loans going back over 20 years. Many questions come to mind. What were the terms, who were the recipients, and what was the collateral? But sadly, we will never know. However, we do note that the banking execs, which is also probably why they had so many debt instruments that were worthless. Looks like 200 million of them. However, we do note that the banking execs may be facing a serious shortfall like their bank. If the loans were collateralized by SVB shares, for example, those shares are now worthless, leaving the loan-heavy C-suite left to come up with cash to repay the loans. And no, these loans don't disappear with the bank's liquidation. Let's see what that cronyism actually is. While there is no evidence of wrongdoing and no personal details of the loans, names, purposes, collateral, are disclosed in the government filings, this headline dollar data is part of the regulatory oversight panel demanded to guard against bank executives getting preferential treatment. Our loan portfolio has a credit profile different from that of most other banking companies, the banks aid in its 2022 annual report. The Fed added that a significant portion of our loan portfolio is comprised of larger loans, which would increase the impact on us of any single borrower default. Well, that's the funny part. They have a book of loans, and then with shares pledged as collateral, probably. And again, what that says there is wrong. And now that loan is worthless, just like the U.S. toiletries. And then that's what was bailed out by the shit class morons, for the money printing that the shit class morons now get to pay for. They fucking deserve it. So, yeah, let's see how that works out when they try to treat that like anything, like, you know, the U.S. toiletries actually, which don't get paid either. At least not dollars that are worth anything. So with the DOJ and SEC eyes already probing the stock sales ahead of the collapse, we can only imagine what this chart will do to stoke some more WF, or what the fuck is this, from the Washington elites. And again, this is when this is what happens when, you know, woke bullshit runs anything. You know, it's not unlike the garbage that, you know, would use proceeds for their own personal purposes. Another nice example of the garbage cronyism that makes this shit class morons poor. Oh, don't forget, it's also because they didn't donate. Donate to the Bitcoin wallet below. Otherwise, the Jesus will make you